Hello friends, hi everybody. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. This is Nisa from Nisa's Variety Show. And yes, today I'm making another one of my famous dishes sent down from my grandmother. Yes, my grandmother. Just one of my grandmothers, because both of my grandmothers were very instrumental in cooking, and one of them actually was involved with a famous lady's salads who are on the market today. But I can't say her name because we don't have any rights to it, but my grandmother actually came up with this woman's first two salads that made her famous. Too bad we're not getting our rights for that, but it is what it is. Hopefully someday we'll have our rights and we'll be able to shout our grandmother's names and her salad from the rooftops. But today what we're doing, we're making tuna fish. Who doesn't like tuna fish? Oops, tuna fish. Sorry, but who doesn't like tuna fish? I personally love tuna fish. And this is a easy peasy tuna fish recipe that was taught to me by my grandmother, one of my grandmothers. Both of my grandmothers were, phenomenal cooks. I mean, people would come from miles around just to have samples of the foods that both of them cooked. One was a savory cook and the other one cooked with sugar, but believe me, I had plenty of great food growing up. But anyway, the first thing that we'll do, and I always do, is I wash off the top of my can if I'm going to make tuna fish. And sometimes now that tuna fish comes in a pouch, I'll use the pouch. But I tend to find out that the pouch tuna fish is a little bit dry, which is not a big issue, but big enough that it's not my all-time favorite. But you can't, once you put your ingredients into your tuna fish, it's not such a big deal, because of course you're going to moisten up your tuna fish. Let me grab a napkin here. All right, get all the germs off of there, or anything that may have gotten on top of there and set on there, or dust. I actually am originally from the South. I guess you can tell by my voice, but now live in the desert. And you know, it's a little different, but I'm here and I'm here to stay. So today I'm making my grandmother's tuna fish. And this used to be a secret recipe, but I'm sharing it with you guys so it's no longer secret. How about that? Well, first of all, we clean off our top. I'm going to take this can opener, and I'm going to open the tuna fish. I'm not going to completely open the can, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. I'm going to stop just shy of opening it all the way. Then I'm going to put my can over the sink, and I'm going to squeeze out the juice like that. Try to get as much of it out as I can. You don't want all that extra moisture in your tuna fish. Now, as you can see, I have 2 bowls here, and I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to take my knife, which is clean. I just used it on my onion here, which is going to go into our tuna fish at some point. I'm going to push the top back. And I'm going to put the tuna fish in this smaller bowl here. Okay, there we go. Alright. And I always like to use albacore tuna because it's just a lot more hearty of a tuna. It's kind of thick. It makes for a very good sandwich, or as I like to do, after I make a sandwich one day, then I usually like to go the next day and eat it with some type of crackers. I do have a favorite cracker that I like to use, but the first day I like to make a sandwich and a half. That's something that I've done since I was a kid, and I love it. My own mom, she actually, her mother was the savory cook, and so she made a savory tuna fish sandwich, which is pretty good, but it's made with a little dill, and we may make that on this variety show someday, but as of today, we're making my mother's recipe. Let me throw this can away. We're going to put it in the recycle trash can. And my daughter goes through the recycle trash can and she rinses out all the cans that's in the recycle trash can. Now, pay close attention, because here comes the secret part. Shh. You go over to your sugar container. And you get out just a tiny bit of sugar. This actually probably is too much. It's not even a teaspoon worth. But you just want to coat your tuna fish with it. And you have to do it in this step or it will not come out right. You cannot put this sugar on the tuna after you have your mayo and other ingredients in the tuna. If you do, it will not come out right. You have to do it at this point before you add anything else. So just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay, and as you can see, I still have a good amount of the sugar left in there. So I'm going to put this back. And next, I'm going to grab my eggs out of the refrigerator. Okay, set them there. Now, living in the desert, as people who live in the desert know, the tap water is awful. It's awful to drink, and it's awful to cook certain foods with it, but boiling eggs, it's okay. So I'm gonna just use the regular tap water to boil my eggs. I'm going to put the water in this pan. And I actually only need 3 eggs to make this tuna fish recipe. But I'm actually going to boil 6 eggs because I'm going to make another recipe for you guys that's going to be on a separate variety show. Next, I will take my pan over to the stove here. Then I will take my eggs and I am going to add in 6 eggs into my water. You know what? Something I keep forgetting about the desert is when you use your water out of the faucet, you should let it run for a little bit because it comes out hot. And even when you have it on the cold water, you think, oh wow, I must have it on the hot water. And you don't. You have it on the cold water and it still comes out warm. So that's because it sits in the pipes and it gets warm. So here we go. We're filling the pan back up. We're filling it back up with cold water. I made sure the water's cool this time. All right. And we're gonna put it back on the stove. We're gonna grab our eggs and we're gonna put in, you know what, let's put in 7 eggs because I always like to have a reserve egg when I'm making anything with eggs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then I usually like to turn my stove on around 6 or a good medium. Let me put the remaining eggs in the refrigerator. Okay. Now another thing that I do is this helps your eggs to not crack and to loosen up better if you put a little salt in them while they're cooking. Just a little sprinkle of it. That's all you need. All right. Now, that's why I like to put the sugar on the tuna while the eggs are cooking. Now, the eggs have to come to a boil and then they need to boil for 10 minutes. But what I normally do is I let them come to a boil and I set my timer for 10 minutes. But around the 8th minute, I normally turn the stove off. Okay? Now, we're gonna do another step while we're waiting. We're going to have an ice bath for our eggs. So we will do this part and then we'll take a break. So, go over here to the refrigerator, have it on ice cubes. And this is how you can get the shells off your eggs without having that peeling problem. I'm sure you guys know this is the information age. There's no problems ever learning how to get the shell off your eggs. But when I was growing up, oh man, it was hard learning anything. You had to have encyclopedias or you had to have people like my grandmother who pretty much knew everything. So go over to your refrigerator or wherever you get your ice and as you guys can see, I have the bowl full of ice. And what I'll do is I'll just sit this here for now. And as you can see, we have our eggs here. We have our onion here. We have our mayo here. And we have our sweet relish here. And our onion and our eggs. That's our 4 ingredients that go into my grandmother's tuna recipe. And it's going to be so delicious. You're not going to be able to believe your taste buds once you eat it. I've had people to say, wow, this is so delicious. How do you make this tuna? And I have always said, it's none of your business. But now I'm not saying it's none of your business. I'm letting it go. I'm letting you guys have it. Also, take a look at my jewelry. See my earrings, how cute they are? I make these, and there will be a link at the end of each of my videos to my Mercari site where you can go and buy your own dice earrings. Or these little pink ones that I made also. Or look at my spaceship necklace. Isn't that cute? Isn't that about the cutest thing you ever saw? And also my bracelet here. It just has all these beautiful little charms on it. And it has stones and little beads and little gummy bears. Isn't that darling? When you look, oh, and look at that little berries, and he just so cute. Wouldn't you just love to have something like this? No problem, because I make these. And so you can definitely have one too. And definitely these dice earrings. You know, you can't go to Las Vegas or where else, Monte Carlo, and don't have some dice earrings. You know, you gotta get on that crap table and make those earrings shake too. Well, anyway, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, our eggs will be boiling, and we will get started on the actual putting together of our tuna fish salad. Hello, and I'm back. This is Nisa, Nisa's Variety Show. And so we have let our eggs boil for almost 10 minutes. We're about 2 minutes away from them boiling for 10 minutes. So I've turned the stove off. I have my ice here. And turn the cold water on. Make sure it's cold because what? I'm in the desert. Don't forget. So I'm gonna put some water in here. I'm gonna get our eggs ready for our ice bath. I'm gonna let this bowl sit in the sink because I'm gonna bring the eggs over here in a second. Okay. Got about 1 minute left. Got my trusty mayo. And my trusty sweet relish. I actually only use one brand of sweet relish that I really like. I don't think I'm allowed to use the brands of these condiments, but you probably can tell what they are. But I've used other mayos and other relishes, and it was just as good. So, you know, use what you have. All right, I'm gonna grab the eggs off the stove. Let me get my pot holder. Hey Google, stop the timer. I'm gonna pour some of the water off. Ooh, steam. There are my glasses. Now I'm gonna put the eggs in the ice bath. Usually like to let them sit in there for just a few minutes. And while I'm doing that, I like to start to add some of my condiments like the onion. Normally, I like to wear gloves when I'm messing with onions because I don't like to get that oniony smell on my fingers and in my fingernails, but I've actually ran out of gloves, so I need to get some more, and I'm gonna have to make that happen somehow. Oh, sorry, during the break I was on my phone, so let me take these headphones off and put them over here. There we go, much better. Now I have pre-cut this onion a little bit, so I'll tell you, I like for my onion to be really, really minced. And saying that, I like for it to be like in little tiny small pieces. So I like to really cut it fine. And I don't like a lot of onion. And I do this for anything salad related that I make. And I'll be making some more salads for you guys. I have some more secret salad recipes that I plan on presenting on my variety show that were some of my grandmother's recipes and that have never gotten out there. And over the years, people have asked me over and over to make for them and have asked me for the recipes, and I have never given them out to now. So, but we'll be having them on this show. And I know you guys will eventually come to know which one of my grandmother's foods I love the most. Although I love both of my grandmothers equally, one of them, their foods to me was more of my liking. That's probably why I have a little extra on these arms here, as you can see. Alright, so getting these onions really chopped into little tiny pieces. Got that. Now we'll make sure anything too big is not going to go into our tuna. All the little tiny pieces in there. We have some big pieces, we'll just push it back. Sure. You know, to me, you don't need a lot of onion, but it just depends on what you like. If you're a big onion person, then hey, put in a lot of onion. You know, some people like a lot of onion. I'm just not a big onion person. Okay. I could use a little bit more. So let's see what we can do here. And while you guys are watching me do this, don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe and share this with your friends. You know, tell them about my recipes and share, you know. My Might as well have everybody bring something good to the cookout. All right, so we got our onions in there. We're gonna set that out of view. And let me kind of rinse my hands over here. We are going to put in our relish, and this is a sweet relish. When you're putting in the relish, you want to kind of try to squeeze out some of the juice. And I usually like to put just a few helpings of relish in here. I'll show you about how much. This is just 1 can of tuna, so you don't need a lot. So, see that? That's not a lot. It's not a lot of onion either. Okay. Now next, I like to put in my eggs. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to peel our eggs. Now, one thing I like to say is do not ever put your eggshells down your garbage disposal. And I found this out years ago from my dad, that eggs actually turn into concrete in your garbage disposal. And a lot of people don't know that, but they do. And they eventually mess up your garbage disposal to where you can't use it and you have to buy a new one. So don't put eggshells in your garbage disposal. Now, this egg didn't do so well, but we're putting it in the tuna fish, so it doesn't really matter. I need my knife here and I'm going to rinse it off. Not that it matters. And I'm going to take my plate back. I had this onion on. I'm going to use it to chop my egg. And I'm an egg person. I don't really eat like scrambled eggs anymore or omelets, but I do like eggs in my tuna fish, and I do like eggs in my chicken salad. Although I have a couple of chicken salad recipes that have eggs and a couple that don't. And so we may make both at some point on here. Because you guys, as you know, I'm going to be brand new to this YouTube thing. Oh, there's our 1 egg. I think we might need just a little bit more ice in our ice bath, because that egg did not come out as well as and sometimes that's all you have to do is just, they're not if the shells are not coming off good, just add some more ice. It just means that the eggs were so hot that it melted a lot of your ice. Well, here we go. Put it on my napkin here, which is what I would do if you guys weren't here. See that? See how easy that's coming off now? So you just have to make sure the ice bath is good and cold. And we've got it that way this time. Rinse off your egg, rinse off your fingers, make sure no shells on your fingers. I need another napkin because I'm just weird like that. I like to keep my hands wiped off a lot and washed a lot. I've taken a few food handlers courses. Eventually, I'm going to be having some friends come out here from the south, and when I do, I'm going to make some recipes that we came up with together, and so we will be having them on this variety show. But this variety show is not going to be all about cooking. It's gonna have some other elements to it, some other things that I feel like I may want to talk about. You know, like some books that I like, some topics that I'm interested in. And things of that sort. So we will get into a lot of different things. Maybe even we'll talk about our past lives, you know, who we were, what we did, where we come from, our soul connections. Look at that egg, you guys. See that? No shells left on that at all. And that's just from the ice bath. It's a good and cold ice bath. Gets you a clean egg. Okay. I'm gonna cut that. And as you can see, my eggs are really done. They're not overly done because they're not green on the inside. They're just yellow. And that means that they cooked perfectly. So, turning the eye off a couple of minutes early and then just letting it continue to cook in the heated water doesn't hurt. And I was taught another way to get the shell off by, you know, I don't want to talk about it because I can't quite remember it. Because I think you're supposed to put like a pinch of baking soda and put a lid on the eggs and turn them off for so long, but you know, don't get me to lying to you because it's been so long ago that I just can't remember. Okay, so we're gonna put those eggs in there. So now we have all our eggs, our sweet relish, and our onions. Okay guys, hold on just a minute, the phone's ringing. All right fam, so I'm back, and so we got our little interruption, but don't worry about that. That was just my cousin, and you know, anybody from the South know your cousins call you and You talk and talk and talk and talk, but I had to cut my cousin a little short. I didn't want to, but I did. I went to go and visit with him about a week ago because it was my cousin's birthday. He turned a big number, you know, that big 40. And so I ain't gonna say who he is, cause he don't look the 40. He looked like a 2-3 or something like that. So we'll let it be that way, cause one day you probably meet him on my show, cause where I live at in the desert now, everybody comes here. So we definitely will be having some visitors on my variety show. They will be coming, they will be sitting here, and they will be testing out the cuisine. All right, so we have our tuna. We marinated it. Does everyone remember what we marinated it with? Just a little bit of sugar. And we let it set on the tuna while we cooked our eggs. Okay. Then we added our onion. Then we added our sweet relish. Then we added our eggs. Now we're going to add our mayo. And like I said, this just so happened to be my favorite kind of mayo. You know, it's almost empty. So we gotta really, really shake it down here. I might have to get another thing out of the cabinet. I like to try to use stuff to the end. All right. What we're gonna do is see what this does. See about how much. You don't need a whole lot of mayo, because even though we squeezed a lot of the juice out of the tuna, it still will have a lot of moisture in it. But I can already tell we're gonna need some more mayo here. So what we're gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to come over here to the drawer. And I'm gonna have to get one of these types of knives. Now where I'm from, in the South, we call this a butter knife. So I don't know where you're from, what you call it, but we call this a butter knife. So I'm gonna take this top off of my mayo, and then I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna try to get some of this mayo, because there's a lot in here, and I don't wanna open a new one. And knowing that I have so much left of this. And you just gotta keep on trying to get it to come out. We may have enough now, so let's see. Sit back there. Let's give this a stir. Okay. Starting to look really, really, really good. Yes, it is. What you guys think? Delicious or what? Okay. Wow. Now, let me Get a paper towel here. I like to wipe around the edge of my bowl to just make it look a little bit more neater and nicer. And so there we go. And voila, tuna fish salad. Now we'll go to our next step. Let's put this cap back on here. And what I'm going to try to do is to get the rest of this mayo down, but I'm going to set it over here for now. And it's nothing like a really good tuna fish sandwich. And when I'm having a tuna fish sandwich, I'll tell you what I really love. I love for my bread to be lightly toasted. And I'm going to stick my bread in this toaster oven. And I will tell you this is just good old regular white bread. And the reason that I eat white bread, people say, why don't you eat wheat bread? Why don't you eat this bread? Why don't you eat that bread? The reason that I eat white bread is because I have a lot of allergies. And I know you're thinking, what does allergies, before we get to that part, I usually just turn my toaster oven on just for 30 seconds, because I just like my bread just a little bit toasted. So then I'll come over to my cabinet, and I don't need to because I already have a plate out, I forgot. Here. I'm gonna add it here. Look at that tuna fish, don't that look delicious? Ooh, yummy. I'm gonna spread it out. Just a little more. And voila! Aha. Make my sandwich there. And what did I do with my butter knife? Oh, I'm gonna have to get another one. Well, maybe I'll use a little steak knife here. I'm gonna cut my sandwich in half. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? Absolutely. Okay. Now, what do you need with a tuna fish sandwich? Can you eat just a tuna fish sandwich? I can't. So, let me walk over here to the pantry. Don't leave, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have to have potato chips with my tuna sandwich. I have to. I just have to. I love potato chips with my tuna sandwich. Now, these are not my favorite potato chips. I actually like a plain potato chip or a ruffled type potato chip. I don't have any. Someone in my household has eaten up all those. It might have been me, I don't know. But if it was, that's okay, because I like these kind too. So, I'm gonna open them. And mean, these are so fresh too. I love when these chips are fresh. Let's try out our tuna fish sandwich. Reminds me of my grandmother. It's so delicious. Oops. I'll tell you, if I had some ruffled chips or some just plain chips, I would actually put them on my sandwich. This is so good. I can't wait for you guys to try it. Oh, it's so delicious. Don't forget to shoot. Okay, you guys. Until next time. This is Nisa with Nisa's Variety Show. And today we have made my grandmother's tuna fish recipe. Love you guys. Goodbye.